Do you want to skip to your stuff?
No, we're going through it. We're gonna
Okay,
smash through it.
fine.
Keyan's post is the utility of bike shedding upper turn limits.
I don't
Keyan,
really have
what's this again?
I do find the offer turn drama kind of boring, but I do think that the one thing I think that's kind of interesting about it is that I think that offer turn brought factions in Bitcoin that were previously apart together. So before you had a lot of the inscriptions people attacking Core for not being in favor of soft forks. But post the off return drama, a lot of the inscriptions people and the people who wanted to see CTV and these other soft fork, these covenant soft forks in Bitcoin, they have like aligned themselves. They have sort of found common ground with Core, found something they agree with Core, and I think that's really interesting. And it made me think that possibly this is a natural occurrence and is there almost by design in terms of like human culture, in that we find these tiny things to debate so that we can align together and form groups of people that we agree with, because the thing is so tiny that nearly anyone can have an opinion on it, and you can get to know someone. It's sort of like a small talk, and I just found that really interesting, and I think it might not be a distraction. If you like zoom out, it might actually be part of community functioning, is having these debates and finding groups of people that you agree with and disagree with, and knowing so that when there's something more complex or more complicated or harder to come to agreement on, you can go to certain people and know that on this past thing you agreed with them on that past thing, and that you can likely trust their judgment on something more complex that you don't understand. Anyway, that was my thought, is that there's utility in discussing these things, even if everyone's exhausted by it and thinks it's retarded. And I don't think I think it's probably I think it's healthy. I think it's it's generated a lot of good. If we believe people building more filters and working on tooling like that and stuff is good, it generated a lot of good. And so that's my main point, is that I don't think it's an accident. I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think it's I think debating small, seemingly meaningless things has meaningful and good impact on community.
Yeah, I agree. I have this joke that I like to say, that Bitcoin is just this one massive global tech company with no HR department and no CEO.
Mm-hmm.
And so all we can really do is just kind of like bicker and fight, and then come together and party, and just kind of have like this wild dynamic back and forth. And yeah, so like just stuff like this is going to spawn out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And people get riled up about it. We talk about it. We argue about it. We have discussions about it. At some point we put it to bed, we move on, we come together.
Yeah.
This is all part of the course.
Did you tell Car what bike shedding is?
Oh, Car, were you still curious about what bike shedding was?
Not
It's
really.
it's when you grow up out of training wheels, you need to shed your bike to a new one.
Yeah.
That's a dumb analogy.
Yeah, it's like a snake, not a water snake.
That's a really dumb
analogy.
shed,
but
it's the stupidest analogy I've ever heard in my life. Shouldn't be called bike shedding. It should just be
called. That was a joke.
Car,
that was a joke.
It should just be called.
Car, that was a joke.
Should just be called getting rid of training wheels.
Do you want to actually know? Because she gave you a joke.
Oh, was that your joke, really? Oh,
it was not really what bike shedding means.
Oh, what's bike shedding?
So bike shedding is the term that we use to describe like people debating unimportant issues, because debating the complex issues is unavailable to them, and it comes from.
Wait, say that again slower. You said what?
So like the origin of this is, let's say Pleb Lab was designing a nuclear facility.
That would never happen.
And
Can we do time travel instead?
Topher and Nick are designing it because they're really smart and they're designing
No,
nuclear
let's do time travel instead.
What the fuck are you talking?
No,
Time
we
machine.
can't do
Time
that.
machine.
Okay, we can do time
We're
machine.
designing a time
do
machine.
There you go. That sounds good.
Topher and Nick are designing a time machine, and they're and you and I, we just do this podcast. We don't know anything about time machines, but Topher and Nick know a
They
lot
would
about
consult us, I think.
And so, we don't know, we can't answer anything. But the moment Topher and Nick began designing the bike shed that they're going to put next to the time machine, you and I begin to chime in on the bike shed. And we're like,
what's the bike shed?
You know what it's a shed for bikes. We store our bikes there as we're entering and exiting the time machine. And once Nick and Topher begin designing the bike shed, you and I are like, you know what? I think it should be I think the roof should be sloped a little differently. I think we need more bike racks inside of it. And so that's what bike shedding is. It's like
you talk about everything but the time machine.
Yeah, because it's too complicated for most people. But when the simple thing comes up,
gotcha.
You begin to have a lot. Everyone can have an opinion.
That's what bike shedding is.
That's what bike shedding.
Oh my God, I lost your hat.
That's like just talking about like the frame, but you can't actually draw the picture, or you're not an artist.
Yeah.
Right?
What is the link there when you linked bike shedding?
The Wikipedia article.
It's the wiki. Okay.
Oh, that's what bike shedding. That's
Law
actually a
of
really
triviality.
good. Yeah. That's interesting. That's like having no talent, basically.
Oh no, I think it's like having.
Yeah, it's like having no talent, right?
Oh, I think in that domain, yeah. Yeah.
That's like people who just have money but no talent. That's what I would say.
No, I think it depends on a domain. So you might be a great movie. You might be able to make movies but not know about time machines, and you can bike shed. You can bike shed a time machine building, but that doesn't mean you have no talent. You're talented at making movies, right?
Wait, say that again. So you might be able to.
Okay, I mean, so let's say Martin Scorsese doesn't have anything to say about time machines, but he has a lot of opinions on bike shed. So is he talentless?
No, he's super talented because he makes movies, but he can't give you any advice on time machines though. But
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
But he can make a documentary about your time machine.
Okay, yeah. So he has talent, even though he can only bike shed during a discussion about time machines.
Okay. Okay, I think we got this. All right, we'll move on.
Isn't that fun? Now you know a new word. I didn't know it until Keyan explained it to me the other day.
It's very common in software development. It's like very obvious.
Yeah.
And also, EK explained it well.
Yeah, EK told me what the actual origin of the word that I didn't know. Oh. Who created a post about? Oh.
Here, come here, EK. They can't hear you.
I have some experience with bike shedding on Nostrwall Connect, because when I was implementing that last year, I was reading the discussion, and then I made a Zap to Zero post, basically just about how much bike shedding there was going on. And Ben de Carmen literally wrote in the discussion on GitHub, "You guys are bike shedding way more than necessary," and that I will never forget that because it was so funny. Yes.
Cool. All right.
Anyway,